Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa & Associates. For a consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.
Hello, my name is Mary Campbell, legal assistant at the law firm of Figueroa & Associates, and your presenter with a special immigration report. No boundary, no sanctuary. Reports that Trump plans to revoke policy safeguarding schools, churches from ICE. The incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump is reportedly planning to overturn a long-standing policy that restricts immigration and customs enforcement. ICE agents from making arrests at sensitive locations such as schools, churches, and hospitals. According to an NBC News report, Trump intends to rescind the policy covering sensitive events like weddings and funerals on his first day in office, creating an urgent need for action. The policy currently in place requires ICE agents to obtain supervisor approval before making arrests at these sensitive sites. Trump's proposed change, as part of his broader immigration agenda, could have severe consequences. It includes implementing what he has described as the largest deportation program in American history. Immigration enforcement at such locations has been considered a safeguard to ensure that vulnerable individuals are not targeted in environments where they may seek safety or essential services. Hardline immigration policies, including mass deportations, were central to Trump's campaign, and since his election, he has signaled his willingness to involve the military in carrying out his deportation plans. Response to report: immigrant, legal, and Catholic immigration advocates raised alarm at the proposal. Murat Awade, president and CEO of the New York Immigration Coalition, said, "Cruelty, not public safety or security, is Trump's objective. By directing attacks on immigrants to sensitive locations like schools, churches, and hospitals, he shows a callous disregard for vulnerable children and the public safety of every New Yorker. Moreover, this policy change will have a chilling impact on immigrant families, who may fear sending their children to school or accessing the services they are entitled to and need to keep their families healthy. Targeting immigrants for arrests and deportation is destructive and diverts resources away from initiatives that actually promote safety and well-being. New York must meet this moment by refusing to participate in ICE's cruel, politicized immigration agenda. It's more urgent than ever for New York to pass the New York for All Act to ensure that all residents can live without fear. We urge Governor Hochul and our state-elected leaders to take action to protect immigrant families and defend the values that make New York a beacon of hope and opportunity. It is clear that local parishes and pastors will need to be prepared for enforcement activity both near and on church property, and should at least require that ICE agents have a warrant before entering a church." J. Kevin Appleby, Senior Fellow for Policy at the Center for Migration Studies of New York and the former Director of Migration Policy for the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, told OSV News. "This certainly is an infringement on religious freedom and will deter immigrant families from attending Mass and receiving the sacraments," Appleby said. The U.S. bishops should be very concerned about this deportation scheme and push back against it strongly, as it is as much an attack on the life of the church in this country as it is against immigrant families. Heidi Altman, Federal Advocacy Director at the National Immigration Law Center, issued the following statement in response to the report. "This report highlights a significant threat that will impact every person in our country, immigrant and U.S.-born alike. People should not have to worry about their safety when sitting in church pews, going to the doctor, or picking up their kids at school. That's why presidents of both parties going back decades have recognized the importance of preventing immigration enforcement from operating in these areas. Regardless of what Donald Trump chooses to do, each of us has a role to play in understanding and exercising our rights to safeguard our schools, churches, and hospitals from his cruelty. We will continue working with administrators, teachers, and healthcare workers in the weeks and months ahead on how all of us can protect our community members regardless of immigration status." Dangerous agenda. Trump's first term provided a glimpse of his dangerous and inconsistent agenda. Rather than focusing solely on public safety threats, the number of immigrants without criminal records arrested more than doubled in his first year in office. This included dreamers, parents of U.S. citizen children, spouses of U.S. military service members, and immigrants following the rules by checking in with ICE as instructed by the federal government. His misdirected priorities, predictably, allowed more criminals to avoid justice while law-abiding immigrants were caught in the dragnet. Trump has the full support of a Republican-controlled Congress. As Senator Lindsey Graham said in a Senate Judiciary hearing about the mass deportation plan this week, "That's going to be our top priority. I want to cut taxes, and we will cut taxes. But as to the Senate, transformational border security goes first."
Our weekly immigration news roundup is brought to you by the law firm of Figueroa and Associates. For consultation on any immigration or legal matter, please call 855-768-8845. That's 855-768-8845. For full stories and more immigration news, visit www.theimmigrantsjournal.com. That's www.theimmigrantsjournal.com.